a section which I think is going to really, really dominate the narrative. Like yield farming dominated the narrative of the last bull market, I'm so sure that gaming is going to dominate that.
Despite the FTX collapse, Web3 gaming continues to be driving the Web3 side of things and the DApp industry. In October and November, gaming activity accounted for almost half of blockchain activity tracked on DApp radar across 50 networks. And blockchain game raised over like $320 million in 2022 alone. What makes blockchain gaming resilient to this major market collapse? Will it continue to grow stronger from here? Let's find out all these answers from both investors and game perspectives. Today, I have Kieran Warwick, co-founder of Illuvium, one of the top game studios launching an immersive AAA quality play-to-earn NFT game in the blockchain metaverse. And we have Bakala, founder and CEO of game development studio QORPO and Citizen Conflict, a top-ranking game on the BNB chain. So if you want to know more about the games and the development happening, just check out our links on Funjible Games down below. Welcome guys to Altcoin Buzz, and really looking forward to chatting with you today. How's it going?
Good. We're just talking in the background. We just released our overworld, so I've had about 3 hours sleep in 2 days. But very exciting, and I'm feeling good.
Yeah. I think last time we spoke, Kieran, was at the Gecko Fest, and your situation was the same back then. Barely any sleep, tons of work. I think bear market is going to be a lot of work for everybody. And then bull market is where all the users are going to pop in and things are going to become very exciting. So all the work goes in is pretty good. How are things with you, Ras?
Yeah, perfect. It's the same. We are before our pre-alpha in December. And when you start coming to the blockchain, you should forget about the sleeping. So basically it's like never sleep like 24 hours per day, 7 days a week. So the same situation is here, but I can see that Illuvium and I hopefully that Citizen Conflict will really bring the quality to the blockchain space. We are really missing.
Yeah, exciting times. Before we go further, I would love to know more about what you guys have been building. Just give a brief intro to people about the project, starting with Kieran. So what's keeping you busy these days, and what have you been building for the last couple of years, Kieran?
So we're trying to achieve the first AAA IBG, which is essentially an interoperable blockchain game. In our case, games. We've got a universe which has 3 titles right now. We're really pushing to get all 3 into the public's hands before the end of the year. But you've got Illuvium Overworld, which is what just launched this morning, or for some people last night. And that's looking really good. A lot of people are having fun with that. That's more like your Pokemon style game. Then we have Illuvium Arena, which launched about 6 months ago, and a lot of people that's in its second beta form now, which is really cool. And then the last game, which we're really pushing to get done before the end of the year, but obviously no promises, is Illuvium Zero. And all 3 games are interoperable. They all utilize the same assets. And just super excited to be building in this space. As Ras said, it's almost 24/7.
Perfect. Yeah. Crazy times, amazing times nonetheless. In terms of we're going to get to more questions in terms of numbers and things that you're looking at right now. But Ras, what have you been working with Citizen Conflict, and how's your journey been so far?
Yeah, basically one thing that really blockchain gaming really missing competitive games, focus on the esports, because everything shifting to digital. So also the gaming, also the blockchain gaming should be really focusing on the esport and competitive gameplay. So we in the QORPO, we try to really create a competitive hero shooter. And we got inspiration from Overwatch, Apex Legends. So you got a hero, each hero has the ability, primary, secondary weapon. And the game plan is really competitive. So this is something what's missing. I'm following the streamers from the Web3 and they're really missing the content. I'm really glad that Illuvium start with the beta arenas and also the open world, that's finally the Web3 content creator have some content to stream something really high quality, because I think that the really bad approach is to split games between games and crypto games. they should be all games. Firstly, it should be games, and the blockchain in crypto is just a layer. It's just, in our company, we think about blockchain as a layer, as a payment option, like the ownership for the player and stuff like that. But the game should be the game. So we was focusing on NFT marketplace, our browser application, which is kind of like authenticator provider for the Epic Store, and mostly now for the games. The Citizen Conflict pre-alpha will coming end of the December. And we really hope that we will bring another competitive games with potential for the esports gaming.
Exciting that we're having launch of 2 pretty anticipated games by the end of this year itself. Anybody who wants to check it out. We're giving away 20 Citizen Conflict alpha passes as well as 30 Illuvium open beta spots, with more links in the description below. So coming to discussing the more macro side of things first, Kieran, why do you think that the gaming sector kind of majority-wise has remained untethered from the whole FTX collapse to a certain degree? Like, it wasn't affected as much as many other things. Like, do you think we hit the bottom early with the gaming side? Or do you think like people have realized that it needs to be untethered from the whole DeFi and the other majority crypto side of things? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's twofold. So the first thing was back in last year, all off the back of the success of Axie, there was a lot of speculation around gaming tokens. And so Illuvium included, many other games had valuations that I think were way higher than where they should have been, based on the progress, based on the realistic outlook of where a lot of those projects were positioned. So I think a correction, given the fact that none of those games have launched, we've put games into beta now, and that's obviously very promising. They're still not in open beta. They're still not testing the economies and stuff like that. And so I think that there was there are a lot of games that were massively overinflated, and there was going to be a correction anyway. And that did happen, right? Before the FTX stuff, before even ETH started tumbling down, and Bitcoin, we started seeing a correction across the board in GameFi and NFTs as well. You know, when random NFT projects are selling at $150,000 a pop and they've got nothing behind them, you kind of know that's not going to last, right? Then the second thing is, after that correction, why I think we haven't had another step down around the FTX side of things, or as extreme as DeFi protocols and Bitcoin, is because there is a lot of hope that gaming doesn't necessarily correlate exactly with finance products, right? Like what a lot of us are trying to achieve now, and it sounds like Rast is trying to do the exact same thing, is adopt mainstream users, and they have never been in crypto. So you've got a lot of speculation there that if a few of these games pull off what they say that they're going to, and they do develop AAA games, then you're going to see a huge influx of users. And obviously with that, you're going to get that obvious uplift in how much people are looking for that token. And so I think that is what's sort of holding us up right now. But yeah, they're the two reasons that I think.
Perfect. Yeah. Ras, would you like to add something to that?
Yeah, I can just fully agree. When we started in 2018, because our game is kind of cyberpunk inspired, I was checking the valuation of the CD project, and the valuation with the Kieran Reeves and stuff around the 4 billion. And then I was checking, and they have a Witcher, they have the CD project and stuff like that. And then I was checking Axie Infinity valuation, like 6 billion. And I was looking at that. It's crazy. That's crazy. So the current situation, market situation is just like, I think that is real market value now. It's not like we are going to see bottom or something like that. Now we see real value of the project, and now we can see who is real builder on the market. And I fully agree with the Kieran that the main focus should be about the game and revenue for the game. So you can, for example, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare now, and Warzone, they release the game, and within 2 weeks they got a revenue 1 billion plus within 2 weeks in this market. When we have the war, when we have the COVID and all of the stuff, within 2 weeks they got a revenue 1 billion. So I think that it's always good time to release the game, because like really game is become like shifting from the just entertainment to much more like entertainment. It's like socialization for the people, entertainment, everything. And it's still super cheap compared to any other entertainment. Like you go with family to cinema, you pay 100 euro for the cinema and that's it. And you buy the Battlefield for 20, 50 euro, whatever, Call of Duty, Cyberpunk and stuff like that. And you can spend months playing this game. So I think that the gaming is literally the best way how to onboard billions people to Web3. But it should be game. It shouldn't be like blockchain game. It should be the game, classic game, and then convert them to Web3.
Yeah, I think that's fair because gaming does then remain untethered. And during these times, during recessions and all, we saw a lot of entertainment companies pop up during the last recession and then the technology development. And with us, like with everything we've kind of been through with the COVID side of things and a lot of people wanting to play and getting entertained within their homes, like getting into these interesting economies and testing things out has become quite exciting, I must say, right? Plus, I think over the last 1.5 years, whether the whole PFP side of things and all these NFT side of things may have added value and transformed things, it did bring a bit of culture onto the blockchain as well. And we've never seen that on blockchain for the longest time. It was so finance related that gaming and kind of art has now brought in like this whole wave of culture on the blockchain, which is super, super cool to see, right? Like people having the ownership of their assets of games is something they've never had ever in the past. And that's like the true wave of ownership, which is exciting for me at least. And so, Kieran, like at your end, like what kind of growth challenges did your games experience during the collapse, right? Like, were there any challenges you faced during these times? Like what would be your tips to the viewers on how to handle the certain market conditions that we are in right now? Do you have any tips on that?
Look, we got lucky in the sense that we were able to raise a lot of money, right? Like we set out, we had about 55 million in funding. We still are very well funded. We've got a lot of levers to pull because we're now 2 years into our development cycle. We're just about to start generating revenue. We've already generated a little bit through our land sale where we did 74 million. About 15 million of that was in ETH. So I guess my tips to you would be make sure that you're building a really good product, right? Like that's the main thing, right? Like a trailer and a white paper doesn't suffice anymore.
More towards retailers though, like what should an average user be doing in this time? Like should they be looking at games to play, being involved with these economies, trading, nothing?
They should be learning, right? Like I spent probably 2 years, like in 2016 when I joined crypto, I spent so much time researching, right? Like if you deeply research projects, you can find that they might look good on the surface, but then when you get underneath the hood and you really start pressing and saying, okay, well, let's see in the interviews that the co-founders do, let's look at the resumes of the team members that they actually put forward and say are working inside their DAOs or their companies or whatever. Do your research. Like, and this is the trouble, right? Like everyone wants to just get rich quick, right? And in a bull run, it's easy. It's like it's almost spray and pray you can do it. But in a bear market, this is where you really make your best bets. And that's how I've made the most amount of money when I've been investing. And obviously this is not financial advice, but in a bull run, I would always find myself just going like, buy. And you know what? Most of the time it would actually work out for me. But in these bear cycles, that's when I've held on to tokens that end up really delivering stuff. And you know what? It comes down to actual value creation, right? And in gaming, it's twofold, right? It's how much value are you generating from revenue to go back to your token holders, and how much value in entertainment are you generating, which can mean ancillary revenue streams can come off the back of that. You can have IP deals, you can have business partnerships with other gaming companies, you can do merchandise, all types of stuff, but you really, really need to be investing in the teams that have great products, great teams, lots of funding, and they're the three things that I look at when I'm making a bet on a token.
So what have been some of the projects that you did research and you liked, besides Illuvium, of course? Like, can you give me some names of things that you found interesting that did, make excellent products and kind of ended up launching successful businesses as well?
Yeah, so back in the day, Economy was one of them. Synthetics was another one. Obviously, that was a little bit easier because my brother was in that one.
Okay.
Frax, I got in very early in Frax, and now I think they're still in the top 100. I still hold a bunch of those tokens, but then there was a lot of ones that I was researching where I thought, I just don't feel like the team is going to be able to survive through a bear market, because you're always going to get these cycles. While we still have a relatively small amount of people, you're always going to easily get a big influx and then a big outflux where you're getting these cycles happening until we reach full mainstream adoption, where we have billions of people that are using DeFi protocols, that are using Web3 games, that have invested in NFTs and projects like that. So, honestly, it all comes back to the team. And a few of the bets that I've made for this bear market, for what I think is going to come out really, really good in the next cycle, in the next bull run, are Nor, which is they're fairly stealth. This game, it's NOR, and Civitas. They're the two really. There's another one called Rise, which is in stealth as well. But I'm backing. They're sort of they're teams, and they're three gaming projects, but they're teams that have come from Web 2, and I know they can build a good game. Right now, that's not everything. You've still got to have the tokenomics there. You still need to have a sustainable economy. That's super important. But what I think will be 80%, maybe even 90%, and as Ras touched on, it'll just be a layer that people use, will be the actual game quality, right? So I'm now making bets not on people who have never made a game before, or have a team that they are one person and they say, we've got 100 people, and you really dig into it and they've got 5 people. I don't make bets on that. I really, really look for the people that have proven that they can build out games before. And their TG hasn't come out yet, but I was speaking the other day to John Kavanagh. I was on an AMA with him. He's building a project in Web3 that, and he built Heroes of Might and Magic. Now, this guy's won so many gaming awards over the last 20, 30 years. He was one of the first adopters of free-to-play. He likes bleeding-edge gaming technology. He's now made the move into Web3, and I'm going to be doing absolutely everything I can to get into that round, because I know that he's going to build a good game first, and then the blockchain elements can be built around it. As long as you have a couple of good blockchain engineers, that's about all you need to ensure that, and some really good token designers as well.
Yeah, definitely. And having partners like you on board the Web3 side does become kind of simple for how to kind of avoid some of the pitfalls that one can go through, right? So, like Ras, what do you think is some of the challenges that you guys faced, and kind of where did you take your inspiration from in terms of fixing these problems and striving ahead?
Yeah, I think that everything started and also finished by the people. So basically, we are mostly focusing from the recruitment and hiring the people, like find the right people for the team. Exactly as Kieran told you, you need to have experienced people from the game industry. You can find the advisor from the tokenomics. You can find the VCs then if you have experience. We was lucky enough that we find like a lot of experienced team from, I don't know, Ubisoft, Electronic Arts, also our technical artists working on the Stray, which was the AA cyberpunk game you play as a cat. And basically a lot of experience. And when we started in 2018, like the major problem for us was set up the pipelines for every single department, like from the animators, rigging, environment, modelers, materials. You don't want another like Warzone with 200 gigabyte once you download the game. So you need to also like, creating all of the stuff in-house, and it takes time. First version you just throw to the trash and you just start again. So like it's everything is in as a builder, as by the development part, you need to focus on the people and then really focus on the product. As Kieran said, like the product is the key for the adoption, not the blockchain, not like all of this stuff, but the product. And as a users, as a community, like we was literally checking like all of these games on the market. We have also one section in our marketplace which calls games. So once we like upload these games, we was checking all of these games, all of these trailers, all of this, and basically, literally, there was almost zero playable games. I was really upset that there was zero playable games. A lot of
fancy renders, like very fancy renders, but like very random gameplay, or even the images of gameplays.
I still say that there's no playable games, and we're nearly 2 years on, right? Like to build a good game, it takes years. Right, like that's the trouble.
Yeah, because a lot of energy is going into fixing economies rather than fixing gameplays and storylines.
That's the main problem. I was checking all of the Twitters and everybody talking about play to earn, like buy NFTs to get this area and stuff like that. And literally nobody talks about the gameplay. And then I understand why, because there was no gameplay. Like, basically, so they have to talk about NFTs. They have to talk about financial aspect because there is no game. So that's why I love about the Illuvium when you check this Twitter. So like you can see the characters, the introduction, all of the leaks, and this is how the game. This is the like Twitter or social media. When you have content from the game, you can show it. So this is really important for us. So that exactly due diligence is important, and when you start doing your due diligence really deeply, you will understand which are the real project and which are not. That's simple. Yeah.
It's pretty interesting how sort of Kieran has moved on from like investing in deep tech projects like Bioeconomy and synthetics and Frax and getting into more very focused gaming side of things. Are you kind of looking at what's happening in this gaming world right now, or the DeFi side of things, or the block base layer blockchain?
Look, I'm all like, I probably in 2020, 2021. I went into probably 150 different DeFi protocols. And I don't even want to call them DeFi protocols, right? Like we're not talking about like compounds and Chainlink and synthetic.
It's basically Uniswap, SushiSwap, and SushiSwap and PancakeSwap.
I was in every single swap. You name a food, and I was in it. I like at one stage I was in a token called Feg, which was feed every gorilla. Like I didn't give a shit. I was in everything, right? Now, so the other thing that I did is I took about $1 million that I'd made through doing that stupid yield farming where like, you got 10,000, 15,000 APY and you're making like $50,000 off a $3,000 investment in like 6 hours, you're awake for 23 hours of the day. You can't sleep because if you sleep, you're going to lose either 10 grand or make 100 grand. I went through all of that. And then I took a step back and I thought, okay, I've got all this money here now. I can continue doing this. And I'm very glad I didn't. Or I can start investing it into a section which I think is going to really, really dominate the narrative, like yield farming dominated the narrative of the last bull market. I'm so sure that gaming is going to dominate that. I've cast a very wide net. I'm in about 60 different gaming projects that are going, and about 20 of them are launching, haven't even come out of TGE and are launching. Some I can't talk about. And I think if I get even 2 of them right, from being, and I'm lucky enough, and Ras is probably the exact same, where so many other projects come to you and they say, hey, if you're an advisor to us, if you invest in us, it looks good for us. So we get a lot of deal flow that comes through, but I just went all in on Illuvium first because there was no other game, right? So I literally went all in on my own game because I was like, I know what we're going to build. I know we're a big team. I know we can deliver. But now that has unlocked and I've got that liquidity back, and I'm obviously the largest holder of ILV, so my exposure to that is massive, and I haven't sold a single token. It's all going back in. But that million that I was yield farming with in Illuvium, I'm now using to go all in on gaming, right? Because I just think that section is so much stronger. Yes, I might miss a few DeFi protocols that come out that have real utility and really augment the space. But I think it's when you're talking investment, you've got to be smart. And I really, really think that this section of crypto Web3 gaming is going to be it.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So basically what you're saying is DeFi money is going into gaming, which is like fantastic. More games, amazing games coming up.
So here's not to talk too much. Here's where it gets interesting, right? So I think a lot of our games, we've got 1 million ILV set aside for in-game yield, right? Now, when you're talking about adopting 100 million players into your gaming ecosystem and they start earning that yield, where do they go, right? That's when they start thinking about changing where they bank. That's when DeFi gets the runoff of so we're the onboarding bridge from mainstream into crypto. And then once they have crypto, it's like, and we've built this thing called a custodial wallet where you won't even know you're playing a game. And so you won't even know that you're playing a crypto game. You'll just be playing our game. You'll be accumulating these NFTs. You'll be accumulating this yield. And then you might read something or you see something or whatever, and you're going, oh, wow, okay, I actually can own these. At a touch of a button, you can transfer those assets into your own custody, into your own wallet, and we'll do that for you. At that point, what do? Do you go buy some Bitcoin? Do you buy some Ethereum? Do you start staking? Like, that's where I think the end winners of this, finance is always going to be a bigger industry than what gaming is. It's definitely money. So, and
the route you're taking is perfect, right? Like, get people to use the stuff and then let them explore the more DeFi side of things. Like, don't get people into DeFi and yield shit that they don't understand, which has no use case because that's going to zero any which way. So it makes more sense. Play the games, enjoy it. If you like to keep it as a memory, keep the NFT with yourself. If you want to sell it off, make 25% or 25x, whatever the amount is, it's fine. At the end of the day, keeping NFTs as a memory itself is a massive use case. So I think a lot of people may not just sell it. They'd be like, hey, I'm a collector. And I think that brings in a very exciting collector mentality as well, which kind of has been missing. Like, it's been more of a speculator mentality, but kind of that experience in collecting. Like, if we had items that we played of games in like 95 or 2000 or whatever in our blockchain, it'd be beautiful, right? Like, it's an experience one would love to cherish. But yeah, Ras, I want to know from you, man. Like, tell me a bit about what you're looking at and what is exciting you in this space.
I would just continue that the game should be free to play. Like, I read the really stats about, for example, PUBG, which is free to play game. This day they got revenue in game purchases around 9 billions, and it's like average daily spending by the players is around 5 to 6 million daily. So it's crazy. It's free to play, and the quality is huge. Fortnite now is free to play. And imagine that you got these barriers in Web3 gaming. You play the shitty game, which is even doesn't work, and you have to spend the money even to enter the game. It doesn't make any sense. People should play the game free to play. They should get taste of the game. It should be the game. And once they win something, for example, our approach is that you got some battle pass or something or free assets. You play as a gaming asset. It's still the virtual asset. It's not the NFT. But you want to sell it on the market. You want to monetize it. Okay, so then you need to convert it as an NFT and sell it. So only if the player want to like activate this Web3 layer, only in this case, he needs to start learning about the Web3. If you want to play the game, go through the seasons and enjoy the gaming experience, you don't have to bother with the blockchain. I'm really a huge fan of the sci-fi, and basically I'm following the Neil Blomkamp, which is like the director of the like Elysium, District 9, and all of the sci-fi movies, all of the Netflix, and he's art director also of the Godzilla. And basically, I'm really happy that like this kind of people are coming into the Web3 gaming, and exactly with the same approach as we do, as Illuvium is doing. It should be game focus first, and the economic is the second. So like really, it's crazy. Imagine that you can play Fortnite for free, and you can play, I don't know, Axie Infinity. Doesn't make any sense for me. So
Axie Infinity cost me $1,000 to get into when I first started. I was like, it just makes no sense. But
if you got in at 1,000, you made your money back more than enough, right?
Yeah, that's the problem. It's the bad approach. Like crazy. That's like literally.
But it's also about testing, right? See, there are two approaches, right? Like one is like if it's Axie, it's trying to be like a semi DeFi platform more than anything else. Like it's like the gameplay is cool, but it's trying to like create more of an economy, less of a gameplay to a certain degree. But I think those guys realize what they've done as well. Like we've spoken many times with Alex and their team as well. Like they're trying to improve a lot of things, come up with like much better economics, more like free to play as well. Like it's fine. Like this is an evolutionary space, in my opinion. And those guys are really smart. Like
it was like experiment, because you need to get
for sure. And look how much you guys have learned from their mistakes, right? Like you don't have to repeat many of the things that they did. Like, and now you can already see like in the future how things are evolving as well. So definitely, I think a lot of cool things are happening. And speaking with you guys right now, just the vibe that I'm getting, it's nothing to do with the bear market at all. I'm getting like real, like fresh positivity here, which is like such a needed change in this space. Like just to hear like we're fucking investing and we're kind of doing cool stuff in this space. Like it's really something I'm not getting a lot of vibe from people. Like people like, oh, this chain will be fine, trying to survive stuff. But yeah, this is super exciting. So yeah, definitely. But in the interest of time, and I know Kieran has to leave as well. So I want to kind of go through some questions really quickly as well. So one of the questions is asked by one of our community members, Lucas Putra, whose Twitter ID is Chad Hobb. So gaming is one of the most profitable sectors in the entertainment industry. What advantages do you think Web3 technology is bringing to this sector? I think we can let go of the basics here. Like you can build economies, you can own stuff. Like besides that, is there anything else that you think, blockchain really revolutionizes in the gaming side of things? I'll take Ras to answer this one first.
Yeah, I think that there's like three main key for me, like is NFT ownerships. Then is like DAO, which can be really like important part for holding a token on NFT holders. You can give them really right to decide about some development and stuff like that. So definitely like true ownership and a voting system like DAO, and then you got like payment option. Like Web3 is like payment. Like you got Google Play, you got the iOS, and you got the Web3. So like this is like three important part we are thinking, because the main three problems in the blockchain gaming was user acquisition, then the retention for the players, and then the monetization. Also in the esports, like the biggest problem is monetization, like how to make money. And the Web3 can really unlock another layer for streamers, for content creators, for the players and stuff like that. So I try to make it shorter.
Super exciting. Yeah, Kieran, where do you think the blockchain is adding value? I think one of the things you did say in the beginning was the composability element, which you're adding across the three games that you're launching, and you can take that asset.
So two things, right? On the payment side, think about something like esports, right? It's a very cumbersome payment system in terms of there's a whole bunch of prize money. You've got a whole bunch of players. You've got some players that are 15, 16 years old. They've got to go through very nascent systems that have to verify them. How do I pay them? In blockchain, so in the way that we're thinking about setting up our esporting tournaments is through smart contracts, right? Where you enter, and you as a player enter, you have a wallet. And so the minute that tournament is over, you instantly get paid, right? Now that is one of the biggest benefits of crypto in general, right? Immutable payments, right? Where nothing, there's no intermediary. We don't need to say sign off on that payment. So it's, you came first, second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever, right? You could pay 1,000 people out instantly, and absolutely nothing can go wrong when you're doing something like that. So that's one little, it's a small thing, but it's a big benefit of being in the space that we're in. And then, yeah, the really big one for us is the interoperability, right? Like when you're talking about different IPs, think about Mario, for example. If you wanted to go, if Mario had a central hub, right, and all you needed to do is go and collect your assets or buy your assets one time, right?
Yeah.
Then you could go from one part of that hub into Super Smash Bros. And then you could go into Mario Party. Then you can go into Mario Kart, right? You could do all of these things by utilizing the same assets that you bought for the first time. You don't need to go into GameStop and buy a new game. You don't need to start your progress again. You can, all the items you collected, all the armor, the weapons, the experience, it all transcends across. And that, I think, is the biggest thing. And then the third would probably be digital identities, right? Like there's a lot of people that are now building digital identities that will, protocols, which are essentially like an identity wallet, right? That's attached. You don't need to, you can be Mr. Fancy Pants, right? It doesn't need to be Kieran Warwick, right? And it can be connected to your wallet. And if you go into Illuvium and you're an awesome gamer, you have a whole bunch of achievements, awards, all of that kind of stuff, and then you want to go to a guild or go to a loaning collateralization platform, you have that wallet that is essentially your resume. So there's so many cool things, but that's just a few off the top of my head.
We've been testing out like Lens protocol, which is built by Stanley.
Yeah.
It's such an amazing system. Like I think using it has been such a delight. It's like that solves the DID problem so well, like across social platforms. You don't need like a Google login. And I kind of feel that what you're talking about, the second point that you mentioned, which is the more interoperability, composability side of things, whereas it helps users kind of like, get onto various platforms for sure, but it also enables game developers to re-onboard the same set of communities by giving utilities to existing stuff that they have. Yeah. Like if tomorrow Illuvium and Citizen Conflict were on the same chain, you possibly could just say, hey, we're launching this one NFT section together where, like everybody will be interested in using the same one, which could be airdrop for the stuff within your games and stuff, which kind of builds like a cool economy between two stuff, which is not there in Web 2. I think that's such a beautiful aspect of the game. I think that's the most exciting thing for me personally. I really like the fact that, you can do partnerships with your competitors and kind of do collective launches if you want to kind of cross onboard users and stuff. And I find that super fascinating.
We're actually just about to sign our first cross IP deal where alluvials will be found in this other game. It's a very popular game. You've probably heard of it and played it. But that and that ability to do that as well is really cool. Now, full composability, full interoperability across chain, across different games, that I think we're still a fair way away from.
For sure.
But adding in to the NFT, right? Coding into the NFT, if you hold X, this will then give you Y utility in Illuvium. That's that halfway step to having added benefits and more composability between different IPs and gaming studios inside of Web3.
Yeah, I think the point you're moving towards is more dynamic nature to the NFTs. I think Ras wants to add something there. But Ras, I want to add another question for you on top of this, right? Like besides this whole composability and the cross-chain side of things, while you're developing your stuff, do you feel like in terms of the dynamism of NFTs or like some of the shortfalls that we have on Ethereum, there are things lacking that you wish you could improve on? And what would they be from a standard protocol, NFT or token side of things?
I think that like Ethereum-based protocols is pretty good for the NFTs. Like we are like exploring Polygon, Binance, and also Ethereum. Currently, we are fully on the Binance chain, and it's pretty cool. We was testing also like different chains, like before the collapse, the Solana, and also like the Avalanche. Currently, mostly we are focusing on EMV compatible chain. There was some testing with Algorand before, but the problem currently is that they are not EVM compatible. But regarding the NFTs, I think that by the technology, everything is pretty cool. Also, like Engine set up the good standard for the NFT from the very beginning, so it's pretty cool. Again, the interoperability as developers, basically, I'm really a huge fan of the interoperability of the NFTs. I think that in this stage, it's possible to have kind of basic interoperability that, for example, if you log this NFT to contract, you got the access to the game and stuff like that. But the pretty cool stuff with the blockchain will be like really full interoperability between the games. But for them, they need to be set up some standards for the technology, also inside the game, because you got some lore in the game, some visuals in the game, so how the characters will fit to the game, how like can be maybe even the character could be transformed to different characters as renting inside this game. So there is a various option how you can approach this. It's pretty cool stuff, and I think that it's not the competitors. It's like players have the retentions. Like the player retention is 3 to 6 months if you don't play GTA 5 or what kind of this kind of CS:GO. So like there is retention. So people play Call of Duty and then play Pokemon and then play Warzone. It's normal. You can break it like this. You need to create the friends, you need to create a community, and you need to create kind of flow for the players. Okay, so you are sick of the shooting game, so go to play this Pokemon game and stuff like that. So it's about the synergy, it's about the partnership, and in the end, you can hold the players. You know, the players always find a way. And if we can create kind of bridge for the NFTs with like zero transaction for them or seamless ecosystem for them. Okay, so here is some ecosystem for all of the NFTs, and inside this ecosystem, if you log to one smart contract, you got access to every single game in this ecosystem. This is pretty huge things, and I think that this will be like really, really great for the like next bull run maybe.
Yeah, I think all super exciting points, a lot of interesting lessons to be learned with this conversation. But I do want to know, like, Kieran, you guys chose to build using IMX, whereas Citizen Conflict is built using BSC. Is there like a reason why you chose these? And like, is there a reason why you would want to kind of improve on these in a certain degree? Like, I'd like to hear this battle out for sure, because both are super cool projects. Like at this moment, around 60+% of movement on BSC itself, or BNB chain as it's called now, is pretty much gaming right now. And IMX is focusing pretty much on gaming as its core standard. But I do feel that a lot of development still needs to be done, because EVM still has a lot of shortfalls in terms of things that you can and cannot do in terms of the dynamism of NFTs, transferabilities, etc. Would love to like kind of have this quick battle out here to understand, like, why did you choose one? Why would you want to move out?
So, I mean, it's pretty simple from our perspective. We were lucky enough to have our eldest brother be a decentralized buff, right? Like everything has to be decentralized. That was his ethos. And so when we were looking at different chains, that was the first thing, right? And in all seriousness, the most secure chain there is, in my opinion, is Ethereum. Right now, you've seen the fallout of what's happened on Solana with so many projects where Alameda said to them, we're a huge investor in Solana, so if you want to go on Solana, you need to hold your assets on our platforms. I don't know if Binance does that. I don't think they do, to be honest. But at the same time, you look at the news that is coming out now about, and you know, it might be complete FUD, might not be, I don't know. But all I know is I'm building a game, right? I don't want to get involved with chain wars. I want to be on the most decentralized chain there is, where nothing can affect it. Ethereum isn't giving out loans because it doesn't have, like, the Ethereum Foundation doesn't have that power. It is a fully decentralized DAO. You look at how much Vitalik is holding. All these other chains, they have this one person who is holding a huge amount, and they can do too much damage to the projects that build on top of them. And that's too risky for us. When then you say, okay, well, Ethereum's dog shit at throughput, right? Like, how can you build a game on Ethereum? Which you can't. And that was a really big worry to us, right? When we first started. But when you look at layer 2s and when they started coming out, IMX was one of them. There were a bunch of other ones that we were looking at. ZK Sync was one, and a few others. Optimism was sort of, no, it's not really fit for gaming.
When you say ZK Sync, is that the one that the consensus guys were working on, or ZK Sync is its own protocol developed by?
No, ZK Sync is their own. It's their own layer too, using Starknet, very similar to IMX. But with IMX, you still have custody over your assets, right? And nothing that IMX does can touch our NFTs. It can the users have ownership of it. So at a base layer, it's super secure. At a layer 2, it's super secure, right? You always have that ownership, and then the benefits of the scalability that IMX brings are the instantaneous transaction times, no gas fees, all of that kind of stuff. So that was the reason, and we really, I'm super thankful that we are, because we just, at the end of the day, we promised 2 years ago that we were going to build a game and not be wrapped up in all of these, feuds and stuff where chains have to show their different assets and they're connected to, exchanges that are centralized. It's just,
keep it clean. Basically, build on something which works with Ethereum, has the same ethos. When you said ethos, which was by the elder brother, you mean Kieran Warwick?
Yeah, Kieran was Synthetics.
The co-founder of Synthetics.
The founder of Synthetics, right? And his thing was, you can't shut us down. No government can shut us down, because we have a whole bunch. We have a set of immutable smart contracts.
Right.
He's like, I can't shut it down. Now, if CZ has a bad day and he goes, you know what? I'm going to run off with hundreds of billions of dollars and I'm shutting down Binance, that's going to pose a very big problem for the projects that are on it, right? Vitalik, he can't one day go, you know what, guys? I'm shutting Ethereum down. Doesn't work like that. Fully decentralized. There's nodes everywhere.
I think interesting points. How do you come back from that, Ras? Like, are you still sticking on BNB chain here? What's your plan?
I'm thinking that if BNB chain or Binance will fall, we will be in the really deep winter for next 5 to 10 years. But yeah, like Kieran said, the focus on the games. The chain is just a layer. It's just a payment option. You can switch it. If currently we are on the Binance, tomorrow we are on the Polygon. Next week,
that's fine. Like I think BNB chain has way more liquidity than anybody else has for being able to attract customers, for getting on liquid exchanges. Like, there are a lot of benefits to it. But I think the reason why we are all in this space and why NFTs work is because of the decentralized nature of it as well. So,
but I was on the really good discussion of the CEO of the Polygon, and they talk about that. Literally no single chain can handle the mass adoption. No. There is no testing they can handle billions of daily users. So there still is the future of the game or future of the blockchain is in multi-chain. If it's the Binance, Polygon, Immutable X, or whatever, like literally currently Polygon in the peak has how many daily users? 4 million, and they got lagging. Basically we was on the Polygon, and literally the transaction failed, every second transaction was failed in the peak. So the game should be the game, and chain is just a layer, and you need to find the best solution, because we are thinking about the chain also as a user acquisition for users. You are looking at the chain where the users are, how easy can get inside the game. I'm talking about Web3 users, because literally you want to target Web2 users. They are the billions of players, but with Web3 there are some users. They are maybe not the gamers, but they are some users. So the chain is like, as Kieran said really right, that we don't want to be involved in any fraud. If it's Binance, right, if Ethereum, if the Immutable or Avalanche, whatever, we want to be be ready to be multi-chain in the future. If it's necessary, we will switch it really easy. If it's EMV compatible, if not, we can like read the documentation and program it. That's it. And you can still find some bridges for the user for NFTs and stuff like that. But I think that about the game, like people should really focus on the game first and find the best solution, what they fit for them. I really like hope that Binance did not fall even in this rumor, because it will be really bad for the crypto after FTX collapse. Like this will be literally because
we'll be going to mainstream. We'll be going off chain. I'm telling you that. No, I'm just kidding. But but in terms of like the cons there of going on to Ethereum, we had to build our own community like raw. Now, if you build a good game on top of Binance, because they have tens of millions of users, you have so much more traction. It's so much more easier to gain that level of adoption than what we've gone for. So there are pros and cons. So I can fully appreciate that if you're in a position to go, you know what, if it does fall down, we can easily move to another chain, or you're EVM compatible and you shut one chain down and then people need to port over. If you're doing that, super smart. But again, maybe we just like to do things the hard way. I don't know.
Oh, that's great. That's great, because you like want to create something that will be stable for long term. As you said with Illuvium, that is your like bet, because you know what you can deliver and your team can deliver. It's the same with the chain. For us, in the first stage was to find really some good partner, because we don't want to change like every month different chain like other projects do. We want to find some good partners in the space, attract the users, and if it works, the change is not like scam or like it's not the close. So it's great. But in the end, like it's what's matter for every single institution in the crypto, even for the exchanges, even for the chain, is the game itself, and the game itself can attract the millions of users. So I understand why you create own like layers, because like thanks to Illuvium, you can bring the millions of the players to your chain, and you will be easily go.
We're going to bring them to IMX. So if you want an intro to IMX, let me know.
Yeah, I think IMX is definitely super exciting. They're one of the best performing projects in the wild. Their development news has never stopped. And even the projects building on them they've selected really, really good projects to work with them. So it's quite exciting, that ecosystem. Kieran, do you still have a hard stop in like 5 minutes? 4 minutes?
Yeah, I have to get to this.
So maybe
4 minutes.
So I want to wrap up like with you guys telling about what people can look out for in your projects. I'll just frame that question really quickly. And then maybe I'll send you across the questions, or maybe we can schedule a part 2 to this, because I love this conversation. I think there is a lot more we can I think this was a very good start for this. And I think a lot of people can learn a lot from what you guys are doing, what you guys are thinking. There's a lot of like a wealth of information you guys have. If you don't mind, or I send you the questions, then you send me written answers.
No, let's do a part 2. I mean, I can do a part 2. I do AMAs all the time.
Oh, that's amazing. Perfect. So let me wrap this up like with the last question. Before we wrap this up, as I know we're running out of time, what should people be looking forward to with Illuvium and Kieran at your end? Can you give us a brief?
So Illuvium 0 is the next launch that's coming out. After that, we've got Illuvitas, which is our collection-based project. It's a super amount of fun. People can dress up their different alluvials. We call them Illuvitas. They can put funny hats, glasses, tattoos. We've got a lot of promotional Illuvitas partnerships that we're setting up with very, very big brands, high fashion clothing, food brands, sporting brands, all of that kind of stuff. And the best thing to do is always just sign into our Discord. We're all, as Ras, and I'm glad Ras pointed this out, we leak everything. We're very transparent. So just join our Discord, follow us on Twitter, and that's where you'll be able to find our upcoming roadmap.
How about you, Ras? What should people be looking forward to at Citizen Conflicts front? And your product is coming out as well. What else people can do? How can they connect more with the game now?
Basically, we want to give our community the Christmas gift, so they will be able to register on our QORPO ID and get the pre-alpha access, so they can test the game. So there will be some requirements for sure. I will send you right.
Can I get that?
Yeah.
So they will be like pre-alpha. So we will have like the free maps, like the prison, military, and all refinery. Basically, we are building the persistent open world. It will be 26 kilometer square world, and the main map, main mode will be in the Q1 ready, and will be like kind of extraction with battle royale. If you are play ever Call of Duty, they had the mode which was called the Plunder. And we want to do kind of this game mode inside the game. You jump on the city. You have some RPG element. You want to collect some crypto. You want to extract them out of the world. And the players who will extract the more amount of the cash, he can win some rewards, in-game rewards and stuff like that. So basically, the alpha test is like our main priority now. It will be currently hosting on the Frankfurt servers. So there will be some peak in the North America and stuff like that. But we will working on much more servers, and then we will have the free NFT mint with the partners like the Bybit and Crypto.com. We would like to have like free NFT drops of free NFT mint of our profile pictures. It will be completely for free. It will be kind of like your identity inside the ecosystem, so you can like mint it once it will be live early in Q1 and use it as a profile picture in the game. And yes, and I don't want to spoil more, but we are focusing on the game modes, and game mechanics. So everything else regarding the development and stuff like that will be like after the feedbacks from the community. We really want to work closely with the community. We want to get the feedbacks because we aim to create a competitive sport, competitive esports game shooting. And then my major problem is to really find the synergy between what is competitive and what is fun. So that's why we will like to get as much feedback as possible. So register to QORPO ID and then wait for the access.
Awesome. Yeah, more about how you can join them in the description below. Before we wrap up, guys, I just wanted to show you something that we built recently. A lot of people have been asking us how to find interesting games on the blockchain. So we've kind of built this thing called Funjible Games, which is like a database of all the games with any blockchain. Like what we're trying to do is just make it easy for people to find reviews and walkthroughs on how you can play the game, how you can find the games, if there are any token drops happening with the games, or like we'll be pushing the same thing on YouTube and various other channels. So do check out Illuvium with all their links here, as well as Citizen Conflict. And you can sort the games by different genres. You can find whatever game you want. Like, do check it out if you want to. It's on Fungible with the J.games, and you can find all the games in the blockchain space. And slowly we're collating more database, writing more reviews, writing more walkthroughs to make it easy for people to find them. So yeah, all the links are here as well. What do you guys think of this?
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm trying to check it out now. What's the link?
Fungible with the J.games.
You got to get that SEO up.
We haven't really launched it. It's just like a soft launch, just to kind of get it tested.
Yeah, nice, awesome. That looks really cool. I'm going to check it out right now.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for your time today. I really enjoyed speaking with you. Learned a lot. Like really exciting getting your views. Let's do it again sometime, and would love to have you on the show again. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Shash. Nice to meet you, Ras. I'm definitely going to check out your alpha. So please send me the link.
Sure.
Can I? You go.
Thanks, man. Thank you for the interview and have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Awesome. All right, Shash. Always good to talk to you, bro. See you guys. Nice to meet you, Ras.
Thank you.
See ya.
Thank you so much. Bye.